What if the way you've been seeking a spiritual experience is actually pushing it further away? Oh, terrible. What I want to do today is widen our perspective on spiritual awakenings. I also want to kind of blow up spiritual awakenings a little bit in an effort to this is a big call. In an effort to open us all up to spiritual awakenings happening more frequently and in possibly bigger, more rapid ways. Bigger, more rapid ways. I say those words and all I think is just work with Shakti. If you want bigger, more rapid awakenings, work with Shakti. Call in the divine feminine. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute, or maybe we'll do another video on that. But I would love in this video to give you everything I've got over the next 20-25 minutes on how to be more of an open vessel to spiritual awakenings. And let's define spiritual awakenings too. Spiritual awakenings this is part of it. This is part of what limits spiritual awakenings from happening. And I'm going to invite us all to get super honest with ourselves in this, right? We don't get to have these conversations. We don't get to take ourselves into the places I'm inviting us to go without being able to be vulnerable and honest with ourselves. So this is that moment of calling upon radical honesty. Now, I'm saying that because some of these things might be calling us out. And it's beautiful to be called out. I want to be called out, right? Call me out on the shit I'm unconscious about. Call me out on how I'm blocking myself. Call me out on my blind spots. Let me see my blind spots. Let me see where I'm preventing my fullness of self from expressing. Let me see where I'm preventing my spirit from leading the way. Let me see where I'm ignoring my deep inner truth and I'm following some societal norm. Like, let me see that. And so if we just put ourselves in that for a moment before I dive into these, I think we're going to do some practice. I don't know. I think we're going to do some reflective questions. I know we're going to start to poke at this territory. And so if we can all just bring yourself into this place of, I want to see my blind spots. I want to see them. This is where growth happens. This is also where spiritual awakenings happen. I have seen individuals come into my workshops, my retreats. I've also sat in workshops, retreats, sacred spaces, women's circles with individuals who, because they are so okay to see their blind spots, they are so okay to see their shadow, they are so okay to see their unconscious, they are so okay, right? They are so okay to be called out. That is one of the greatest gifts for all of us in spiritual awakening. Humbleness. So point number one is this invitation. I love how this shit weaves together when I can get out of the way. But is this invitation to be so okay to be called out, to be shown where we're blind, to be shown where we can't see, to be shown where we're limiting, where we've got, like those horse race blinders on. And someone's just like, hey man, hey, there's this whole other thing right here. Just get the blinder off. You're like, no, I want to be right. So point number one is to open up to grander spiritual awakenings, to open up to them happening more often, to stop pushing them away is, can we be okay to be ripped apart? Can we be okay to be called out? Can we be okay? I have had some of the most profound healings and awakenings and shifts in consciousness in the most uncomfortable fucking places. In a conversation in my kitchen with a soul friend, right? Conversation in my kitchen with a soul friend, and she's saying, hey, I'm seeing this. I could be wrong, right? She's very beautiful at how she maneuvers around ego structure. She's trained in all of this, but I could be wrong, but I'm seeing that you're repeating this family pattern, Sabrina. What do you think? And I could go, no, I'm way too evolved, right? This is the primary problem in us as you. No, I'm way too evolved for that. I've done my work, or I whatever it is. And not all of us have this, right? Like I was sharing, I sat in circles with some of the most humble, most vulnerable, most like totally okay to be shown where I'm missing the boat on things. So in that moment, I could have gone, no, and she would have accepted that, right? She's such a genius around this stuff. Or I could go, okay, hold on. Let me see if I can see from your viewpoint. Let me see if I can get out of my own shit, get out of my own patterned way of thinking about myself or my life or my family or the situation that's arising. Let me just open up, widen the lens. Let me really see from your angle, right? And I get to go, shit. Yeah, that's a totally, I'm making something up here. I don't have exactly an example in my head. But many of these have happened to me this way with very good people in my life. Like, wow, that's a mom pattern. That's a survival thing that I adapted when I was a child at 5, and I'm still doing it at 42, and it's really not serving. Oh, you're right. I am like armoring my heart. I am shutting down my system, and it's just out of autopilot. I'm on autopilot. And shit, you've just pointed out where I'm unconscious. You've just brought consciousness to the unconscious. What the fuck is a spiritual awakening? It's bringing consciousness to the unconscious, right? It's making the unconscious conscious is one way of describing it, right? Waking up. We call it an awakening, right? Because that's what we're doing. Okay, so take a quick moment, just a quick pause, a big breath. You can reflect on this later, you can feel into this later, but really the practice here would be relax. If you remember the Lisa Page podcast, we'll put a link here and a link down below, but it's just, how do I come into the present moment? How do I come out of a patterned way of being? Okay, just soften your belly, soften your whole front side, soften your throat, soften your face. Just practice this with me for a moment. This is embodiment practice number 1. So we just did point number 1, and it's being vulnerable, being very much in the moment, allowing ourselves to see from a different angle, allowing ourselves to see a bigger perspective. And what helps to do that is to just soften. And like my whole head has softened. I don't even want to talk anymore because such a softening and a relaxing is happening. My neck, my throat, my chest, my belly has softened, right? All the way down to my feet. My legs have softened. Everything has softened. And from this place, and I can also use things like, it's not personal to me. Like it's this seeing this pattern has nothing to do with my self-worth. Like, I'm still an okay person. I'm still a really great person if I see that I'm repeating a mom pattern. So we also invite ourselves to come to this place of, it's not personal. This is not personal to me, and I'm not being attacked. I'm not attacking myself. My beautiful fucking friend who just wants the best for me is certainly not attacking me. She just sees my soul and she's like, hey man, your soul is wanting to break free of those chains. It's wanting to grow. It's wanting to be free from that old pattern that sucks, right? Okay, so that's point number one. Is becoming vulnerable and radically honest with self, and really coming to this place, I'll sum it up this way, of knowing that we don't know, right? I mean, this is, you will listen to anyone who walks this path long enough, the spiritual path or an awakening path or an evolutionary path. They walk it long enough, and the further down the path they go, I know that I don't know. It's like you walk this path further and further, and you know less and less and less and less, right? And that's that beginner's mind that so many traditions talk about, the being curious around things. And you can just feel that softens everything and loosens, it literally loosens these very ingrained neurological pathways that just keep repeat, run the same line, but you just go, I don't know. I know that I don't know. And so suddenly you're open to evolving so fast, right? To waking up so fast. Okay, that's point one. Point number two. By the way, if you're enjoying this, hit the like button. Hit the like button if you love these videos, if you love us, if you want more of these, you don't want to miss things, subscribe. It totally helps us. So yes, I'm saying this because it totally helps us. It helps to share this further. And that's a big part of what we're about, is just sharing good shit further. So if you feel to help us share good shit further, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, maybe leave a comment about how you feel in this moment. Just in this moment. Like, I feel at minute, whatever it is, I think 12 or something like that, I feel on fire. I feel in love. I feel, and even if you don't leave a comment, this is just a really good check-in point. Okay, so let's go on to point number two. Point number two, where we potentially are, without even knowing it, pushing away spiritual awakenings. Many of us have this very limited belief on what they look like, on what we need to do, where we need to go, who we need to be with, how much money we need to spend in order to have an awakening. So just here, reflective question. So this is point number two, reflective question, kind of practice number two, is feel into your belief systems. And again, you have to be real and raw and honest. So whatever they are, just accept them and go, okay, I think, or I've read, or what society says, it doesn't matter where the belief systems come from. Many of them are just absorbed conditioning, or what we see on social media, or what family has told us, or what our religious tradition tells us it is, or whatever it is that we've allowed to become our belief system. I believe that in order to have a spiritual awakening, I must go to India and find a guru. Now, isn't it funny? That's almost like a couple decades ago, that was the thing. Now, what's the thing? I must go to Peru to find a shaman to do a medicine journey. Well, here's my question. In a couple decades from now, are we going to be looking back and going and having the same thoughts and feels we have about the guru in India, where that's all kind of, it's not as much of a fad these days, right? It's not as much of a, I don't know, it's just not, it's different, right? Can you feel that? I'm talking big, broad brushstrokes, right? Of kind of like spiritual fads, spiritual awakening fads. So that's the question. What spiritual awakening fads are we stuck in? Are you stuck in? Am I stuck in? Is society stuck in? I think one fad that we're really in right now is this leniency on plant medicine. Is plant medicine is the way to go. I need ayahuasca ceremony. I need to find mushrooms. I need to lick a frog. I need to get to Peru. Right? Is it true? If it's true, fuck yeah, go lick the frog in Peru, right? But if it's not true, How are you limiting the awakening that could be happening at your fucking kitchen counter with your best soul friend? How are you awakening the one that could be happening online in our upcoming free week of mystery school? How are you limiting the awakening that could be happening just by listening to some random podcast in your car, or walking out back with your dog in the middle of the woods and you interact with the tree and suddenly, holy shit, I get Mother Earth. I get feminine goddess energy. How are we limiting that? So that's number 2, is really going, what are my beliefs around spiritual awakenings? What are my beliefs around what does it have to look like? Because I will tell you what I have watched it change so fast, and us have access and capacity to heal and evolve and wake up in ways we never fucking dreamed possible. Never dreamed possible. I watched in our year-long program, just this year, we just ended it. In our year-long program, I watched this circle of women do things and go into spaces and have fucking enormous healings, awakenings that I did not dream possible. We went into, these are spaces I can't talk about because I can't bring words to them. They're spaces where you experience the mysteries, you experience the gnosis of the divine, right? And to bring words just diminishes the whole thing. But I had to be in a state of, I don't know what's possible to do online. I don't know what's possible to do in this way. I don't know. But I'm trusting this deep inner call to hold the circle for a year online. I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm going to turn up every retreat that we have online, and I am going to get out of the way. I am going to get out of the way, and I am going to let the magic move us. I am going to be guided. I am going to be moved by spirit in the best way that I can on a fucking Zoom call, right? I'm going to invite everyone else to be guided by spirit. I'm going to follow the Shakti online on a Zoom call and to watch the miracles and the magic and the huge awakenings. These women at the end of these 12 months are unrecognizable from who they were at the start. All of them, every single one of them. And I had no idea. So all of that to just share with you and invite you to go, where am I maybe thinking it should look like this, but fuck, it could happen in my kitchen counter. Shit, it could happen on Zoom. Shit, it could happen in this free week of mystery school Sabrina keeps talking about. Shit, I don't know where my next huge awakening is. I just read this amazing review. So I'm going to start giving podcast review shout outs. Right? So this is another thing. If you're listening to the podcast on whatever platform you're listening to it, give us a review. That's also super helpful for spreading good shit, sharing more good shit in the world. Okay, so the review of the week is this one, and it's by Kat Hernandez. Ever since discovering Sabrina Lynn on YouTube, the inner work I've been doing for myself has accelerated 10 times faster. She's raw, she's real, and I love the fact that she curses. Whenever I hear her talk, whether it's on a video or a podcast, I feel the energy she emanates, and it's such an amazing experience. She feels like home. I'm ever so grateful to have found this community. Keep growing and keep being awesomely beautiful. Kat, we fucking love you, sister. What a cool shout out. But also, what a cool way of weaving this in. And that's a podcast 10 times, right? Like 10 times. Faster. And who knew, right? Who knew? So can we, in this, I don't know, going forward, I was going to say in this upcoming year because I'm filming this just before 2022, but whatever. Going forward, can we blow up the box? Can we blow up the box? Can we be open to spiritual awakenings looking so different? This world is changing so stinking fast, right? COVID has just completely obliterated. I know for myself, I'll just share this. This is a little bit weird. But I do remember in the last podcast talking about Pleiadians and all the comments. So for those of you who left a comment about like Pleiadians, like, fuck yes, Sabrina, finally you're getting really weird and you're really letting it fly. So shout out to you all for just like the weird, like permission to fly your freak flag, right? Like I'm on it. So thank you all for that. Okay, so the weird part is that for me, everything that I did for a long time was in person. And I would always use these words like my Shakti would talk to your Shakti, right? My divine essence would talk to yours. My life force would talk to your life force. And I know that my system over these last, I would say 5 years, because I started doing a lot of online things 5 years ago, and it is ever evolving to be able to transmit far outside of being in person. So I'm sharing this from a funny way. Like, I know that part of what I do in the world, part of what I'm here to do in the world is activations, transmissions, Kundalini awakenings. That's what I do, right? That's just what I do, is this emanation to wake that up in you or in another person. This transmission to bring about sacred union, to light sacred union up in you, or to light up different aspects of the divine feminine in you. By the way, if you're like, what are these different aspects of the divine feminine, Sabrina? And I want you to wake them up in me, go do the free 6 Faces masterclass. It's totally free. Actually, don't do that one. Here's what you should do right now. If you're listening to this between now, whenever this comes out, and January 4th, 2022, go and sign up for the free week of Mystery School. It is our deepest diving rewilding program. It's big. It's big. It's the culmination of all of our work held in a mystery school, right? In that first week, which is totally free. It's totally free. We just want to share good shit in the world, right? In that first week, we work with opening up to the heights or spirit, or you could say divine masculine if you want, but I don't like that. The heights, let's just call it the heights spirit, right? The upper, what's up there, the mysteries that are held in the upper realms. And we work with the depths, the mysteries held in the depths, the deeper realm, soul. So if you were to say the heights were spirit, the depths would be soul, right? And can you feel it? And you just feel, and how like the depths are often, those are the real hidden realms. So when I said, I don't know if I said this at the start, but I was talking about like rapid awakening and rapid fire. This might have been in the outtake, but rapid awakening, and what would you do for rapid awakening? And I said, the divine feminine. Like, if you want to wake up fast and you want huge spiritual awakenings, go the divine feminine path, right? Because that's the path. That's the rapid path to evolution. That's quick fire, rapid path to evolution. Anyways, that's a topic for a whole nother conversation, a whole nother video. Anyways, invitation, it's open to all who identify as woman. Sorry guys, sorry those who do not identify as woman primarily. This is a woman's circle, and that's just this particular offering. Don't worry, we'll do a lot of other things that are open to everybody on the gender spectrum. But for this particular one, it's open to those who identify with feminine primarily. Okay, so let's come back to our topic and let me see what else I can share with you around awakenings. So one is getting that real vulnerable and being okay and starting to move further and further down the line of, I know that I don't know. And I'm totally cool that I don't know. And then the second part was, how are we limiting spiritual awakenings where we think it needs to be plant medicine? We think we need this tool, this bangle, this fucking candle. We think we need to get on a plane and go to Peru. We think we need da-da-da. And I am not at all poo-pooing ritual. Ritual is extremely important. Intention is extremely important, right? It's extremely powerful. Like it's a ritual is an intention is like the intersection where the intersection of where the seen meets the unseen, right? That sits right at that where the mundane meets the sacred. That's a whole nother topic too. If you want to hear more on these topics, great thing to do is leave a note in the comments. Like, Sabrina, talk more about this intersection between the seen and the unseen, and how is it that ritual is that, or some of the other things that we've explored. If there's something that you'd love me to dive deeper into, leave that in the comments. We read all of the comments, so that would be beautiful. Okay, I want to feel for what else to share around. Okay, so you're seeking. Here's the last point I want to share with you. And this has been spoken about by so many of the great mystics. And again, if you walk this path far enough, you will very much experience this, is that not only are you seeking an awakening, let me say it a different way. Let's say you're seeking the divine. Let's just say you're seeking a spiritual experience or a spiritual awakening, or however you want to term that, but you're seeking it. Now, here's the other thing. Let's just call that the divine. So you're seeking the divine in whatever form: spiritual awakening, new way of looking at things, new perspective, a healing, a something, soulful living, purpose-filled living, love-filled living. All of that fits into this category. But you're seeking it. But here's the fucking truth. It's seeking you. The divine is seeking you. It's seeking you. Okay, for some of you, you're like, I totally get that. I experience that. Again, if you walk this path long enough, you will. It's literally like we seek, right? We're like chasing it, and then suddenly we're like, holy fuck. We turn, right? This is a lot. And if you can relate to this, leave a note in the comments, because I would love to hear this too. This is just good community conversation. We turn and we're like running from it, like, okay, that's enough fucking spiritual enlightenment shit. That's enough awakenings. Holy fuck. This is fucking up my world. And so you're like running from it, like, just let me get back. And it fucking chases you, right? Like, there is no running from it. There is no hiding from it. I remember Carolyn Mace going, like, you can't just go down the rabbit hole and come back out. It doesn't work that way. Muktananda, right? Great spiritual sage. He's like, don't take this path. It's like, don't, unless you have to, right? Because once you start, you're not getting out. You know, like, there's almost this like threshold, or this like point you cross over and you're like, oh shit, can't turn back now. All of that to honor this high spiritual truth that the divine is seeking you. Evolution is seeking you. Enlightenment is seeking you, right? Soul expression is seeking you. Spirit is seeking you. Spiritual awakenings are seeking you. Here's the thing I want to share about this. Can you, this is a practice I do often, but I do it in different variations, but can you open up to coming into, and now this will be embodiment practice number 3. I think our second embodiment practice was more of a reflective questioning, but anyways, can you start to come into this like harmonic resonance and this deep trust of, okay, spirit, if spirit is seeking me, what is that? What is the rhythm of that? How does that, where is that? And this is like a state of consciousness to move into. We'll do this in the full mystery school, by the way. But it's like a state of consciousness that you move into where you literally plug into that energy grid and you fucking allow it to come to you, right? You allow, it comes to you. Yes, you sometimes have to still do something, or you have to make a decision on something, but it comes to you because you're in harmonic resonance with it. You're in harmonic resonance with it. And to me, this is more important than seeking the spiritual awakening. So the thing that we should seek, and why so many, sages and wise mystics will say, practice, practice, practice. Just have a solid practice. Just practice, practice, practice. To me, this is why the practice is more important than the seeking a spiritual fucking awakening by licking a goddamn frog in Peru. Which, again, if that's totally what's true and that's what gets called into your world from this place, right? From this place of harmonic resonance, of just my soul's path. I'm just totally fucking aligned with my soul's path. That's it. And if my soul's path in total alignment is aligned with licking a frog in Peru, well, I'm going to get on a plane and go lick a frog in Peru. Right? But if it's aligned with having a conversation in my kitchen where I get really fucking vulnerable and really raw and I listen to my friend, and that's my awakening, then that's my fucking awakening, right? But I live from a place where I'm so fucking open to what it looks like, to how it arises, and I'm literally in harmonic resonance with it so that it can come to me, so that I can hear the call, right? So that my intuition, my body can speak, so that I make decisions from that place. So I'm literally becoming a magnet for my soul's evolution. And I am in that harmonic resonance more than I am in old, stuck, limited, egoical way. Does that make sense? So that's the practice we want to do. And right now, this is an energetic transmission. You could just sit there and receive in this moment, right? You can just receive like, okay, cool. Like, what is Sabrina doing? If I were going to emulate what Sabrina's doing here, and if I was going to just sink into that state of consciousness, that's it. You just fucking hop on my coattail, right? Hop on my coattail, follow me to that state of consciousness, and you sit there, right? And you hang out there, and you move, and you breathe, and you sound, and you let the whole body get into it, but you come into find the harmonic resonance. Okay, here it is. Like, here it is. That's right here. This is it. Sometimes it takes practice, right? I do this all the time. I teach this all of the time. It's very easy for me to just go there like that. This takes practice. So if you're like, I don't know, I'm not feeling anything, I don't know what you're talking about, it takes practice. It takes practice. All right, if you want more practice, do the free week of Mystery School. Or if you just want to hang out and get some really good, yummy community time, or if you just want to start the new year off with something witchy and wild and deep and weird and esoterical and possibly your greatest spiritual awakenings, you should do Mystery School with us. All right. So beautiful to be here with you. Thank you all for everything this last year. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your reviews on the podcast, your, what do I want to say? Connection and shares and creations in the Facebook group. I love that. Again, links are there. There's links everywhere. Everything that you're looking for that we've talked about will be in the link resources below. So you can easily find anything. Otherwise, just go to rewildingforwomen.com. Everything's kind of held on that website that we've talked about today. Wow. All right. Awesome. I love you all. Thank you.